Just, is this person that you're with somebody that isolates you from your friends and your family? Are they trying to keep you away from people because they don't want those people telling you what they see in this person and the way they're treating you? And so
Right.
they don't want to be found out. They don't want to get caught in their behavior. And so, something to look out for is, do you have a friend that's telling you something's not right with that guy, or something's not right with
Mhm. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you feel like you're being gaslighted over and over again? Well, my name is Tyler King, and I have my friend Karen Maldonado, and we're here with the Narcissist Asking for a Friend podcast. And Karen, I want you to enlighten us. I know that you have been dealing with a lot of people, dealing with the gaslighting, narcissism, all the things like that. What have you found has been one of the most difficult things people have run into in those relationships, or maybe even trying to get out of those relationships?
Well, first of all, trying to see if they can help fix the situation. Like sometimes they'll say, let's go for counseling and let's get the help we need. They know that they are very confused in this relationship. They know that things that they've been trying with the narcissist to work things out in a better way have not worked for them. So they get to that point where they feel like, well, I need professional help. I need somebody to step in that can kind of be our mediator and help us work through this. The narcissist doesn't think they're the problem, right? So oftentimes they will sometimes go for counseling. A lot of times they will end counseling for several reasons. They don't have self-awareness. For them, they think that the victim is the problem. The victim is the one that's, needing the help. They need to be.
Right.
So they'll even come in, or the narcissist may even be the one that makes the phone call to the therapist.
Wow.
We need,
That is something.
yeah, we need counseling. She's a narcissist or he's a narcissist. And they'll describe that person that they are with as a narcissist. They are very successful in naming things that are narcissistic.
Wow.
And and the untrained therapist can actually be duped very easily. If you don't know what the narcissist is like and you take their word for it, you could actually be duped for sure, because they don't have self-awareness. They don't know they're a narcissist. They just believe everything that they say is right and everything that the victim's trying to say is wrong. And they just want somebody to stand there in front of the victim and say, what's wrong with you? Aren't you listening to them?
Wow. So they know the people that are actually the narcissists, and you're a counselor. So do you identify yourself as a Christian counselor, or just a counselor? Because we do this podcast, and it is from a Christian perspective. We're not bashing anyone that's a narcissist. We just want to help people get their healing and to be able to move forward, and maybe even stay in these relationships if they chose to do so. I mean, but what would you say? Would you approach it that way, or do you kind of hold back and don't really plug in anything about Christianity or the faith unless they maybe put it out there first?
Well, when people come to see me, they know that I'm a Christian. Usually, if they've read, my information, they know that about me, my bio. However, some people may not, and as a professional counselor, we can expose our values, but we cannot impose our values. So if
Okay.
someone comes to me and says that they are a Christian, and even the narcissist may say that they are a Christian, then
Right.
I feel I have freedom to talk about everything that I'd want to. I integrate faith with
Right.
my counseling practice, right?
Yeah.
So if someone, and I have had some situations, not narcissists actually, it's other people that have come to me as individuals usually, and they'll say that they don't want me to talk about God, and I will respect that. They know already when they meet me, if they're going to tell me that they don't want me to talk about God, is because they've read about me and they don't want me to bring God into it. So
Right.
I don't, if that's what they request. Also, in my own intake forms, I always have a question there that talks about, what is your faith background, if you'd like to share that. And
Right.
Christian, they'll say that they're a Christian. And I also offer, would you be interested in prayer in your session? And so that is all a part of, them disclosing from the very beginning what they prefer in counseling. So it's, part of giving them, a good background of what's possible in a session before it even starts. So yes, I've had plenty of people that have come to me that claim to be Christians that are narcissists,
Right.
asking for counseling for their victim spouse that they need to fix. And so, we have to be, discerning and understand enough about what a narcissist is so that we can see it. Now, in my counseling practice where I've had that happen, if
Right.
the truth, if the person calling me is the victim and has a narcissist for a spouse and that person's willing to come for counseling,
Right.
I have to expect that that person is going to want to tell me how to do therapy. And that
Mm.
most of the talking, that their spouse is not going to get an opportunity to say what they want to say because the narcissist is very careful to cut them off and make sure that they don't get a chance to say what they want to say. The victim of a narcissist has often learned that they're better off keeping their mouth shut because if they say too
Mm.
much, they get in trouble when they go home. So, it's they don't feel safe. They don't feel safe saying everything. Now, if I get a person by themselves and they're not with a narcissist, they'll unload everything.
Right. Right. Of
They
course. Yeah.
want to do that for a long time and they need to do that. So if you've never been to counseling and you are in a narcissistic relationship, you don't need to do it on your own. Yes, our podcast can be helpful just to be able to say, I'm not alone. There's other people going through this, and maybe it'll help you get some
Mhm.
understanding. But to actually have somebody that's a professional kind of walk you through this journey so you're not by yourself in it, you need to vent. If you're not going to vent to a therapist, it might be hard to vent to a friend or a family member because, who really wants to always bring all their problems to their family members and to their friends. Not every family member or not every friend wants to hear that kind of stuff. So you have to know that you're safe with a particular friend to talk about it. And so, choosing wisely who you're going to talk to is very important in this kind of situation too, because you don't want to tell a friend who's going to tell maybe their spouse, who's going to report back now to your spouse. So you have to be careful who you choose.
And isn't it hard for some people to even talk about it because aren't narcissists really good at managing impressions and like making themselves look like really good people? So you would almost look a little crazy, I guess, in a way, if you started talking bad about them because they would just be in shock or disbelief, right?
Because the narcissist has been very good at keeping the image up. They're
Yeah,
great, right? In everybody's eyes, they could be very great, very charismatic. It's like, what, you can't be talking about the same guy. You can't be talking about this woman. She's so fun.
right,
She's so great. What are you talking about? It's gotta be you. So,
right.
and oftentimes the person that is the victim is the quiet one. So they're quiet for a reason. They get in trouble.
Mm.
So they learn to keep their mouth shut. And so until they're ready to actually, look for some type of change in what's been going on, they're gonna probably remain quiet.
Wow. So when you see a couple, you almost have to wonder, like maybe from the outside looking in, like if you see one that's really quiet, not saying anything, that could be an indication, whether it's a friend or a family member, there may be like a narcissistic relationship dynamic going on that they may not be outright saying it, almost kind of like blink twice, ask for help kind of thing. That could be a sign that something is going on. Not always, but it could be.
Right, not always, for sure. Yes,
Wow.
there's some shy people out there, right? And so,
Right.
but yes, that could be. And if the other person is very charismatic, very out there, very, yeah, and then is that shy person so shy and isolated that it's possible they've been groomed to be that shy, isolated?
Mm.
So is it by choice or is it by their spouse's choice that they are the way they are?
Right. They kind of learn to be that way. Like you just sit back and be quiet and don't say anything.
Yes.
Wow. So, and even going into that, what would you say to someone that maybe, because, we had in our last podcast where we talked about the hoovering, the gaslighting. And I know we wanted to kind of go a little bit deeper and talk about, what are some things like, let's say, if they're trying to cut ties, what are some things that a person can do? Like they're done, they're fed up, they've kind of seen it over and over again. It's been happening for years. What do they need to do?
Well, I think they should tell somebody that they trust that, they shouldn't walk through the decision-making process by themselves. So having a professional therapist, somebody to talk
Yes.
to, having an attorney, if that's marriage we're talking about, then
Yes.
an attorney where they can actually talk about, what if, I want, some people will actually go to an attorney because they want a divorce, because they want to see what could come their way as retaliation. How do I have
Mm.
to protect myself? I want my marriage to work. He's not willing to go for counseling. He's not willing to change. He sees me as the problem. These are the things that are happening. Everyone in my family understands, my friends understand what's going on, but he doesn't see it. He doesn't have any self-awareness. I need to do something to make a boundary so that he or she realizes that I cannot tolerate this anymore because I'm depressed. I'm so sad, or I'm always on eggshells. I'm anxious. Like, whatever the mental part of this is for them is becoming very difficult. So now they
Right.
need to talk to somebody about what's these next steps. I know I can't get change to happen with the narcissist. So I have to take control of my life now and do something. And I need to
Right.
go with, I need to have a group of people that I know are backing me on this. And if the narcissist is not a safe person, if they can become some way, or very abusive verbally, even that
Right.
is then I would suggest that the person, if they're actually going to go through the steps of separation, that they are not doing that separation alone, that they have people helping them do it. Like I know one woman, she actually had friends come to her house while her husband was there, and
Right.
the friends came in and helped her get her stuff out, and she left. It was the marital home, so it was a home that they owned together, but she said,
Wow.
"You won't leave. I need to be, I don't care if it's a mansion or a hut. I'm gonna get out of this place because this is where the abuse is gonna continue happening. And
Right.
I'll worry about how to work out the financial part of it later. I've just gotta get free of this." Now, that's easier said than done if there are children involved, right? Because
Right.
this is the home, the children are going to school locally, the children are, so they're, if they're gonna make a change like that, better to make the change in summertime when it's not affecting school.
Right.
But
Right.
but even that's not easy to do because now you've got to have some kind of a custody agreement, right? What's the
Yes.
visitation gonna be for both of you? And a lot of
Right.
states have it where it's half and half, and so you've got to live in the same neighborhood still, usually, the same town at least, so that the kids are
Right.
going to the same schools, so that you're not taking them, you can't switch schools every other week if so it's got to be something that,
Right.
yeah, so you definitely need to have the professional help behind you, the legal help, the mental health, so you
Yes.
work through this right, and then you also want the security, the safety of doing it in a way where you're not putting yourself in harm's way further.
Wow, that is so good because a lot of people they want to get away, but they don't really know how. So I think you really summed it up in a good way. Now, before it even gets to that part that it gets so far off and bad that you're even having to do this separation stuff, is there a way that maybe you can see it coming? I know it's kind of like maybe it could be a slow burn. It could be like it kind of creeps up on you. What are some things that they need to look out for in these relationships?
Um, well,
Red flag.
like is the narcissist, is this person that you're with somebody that isolates you from your friends and your family? Are they trying to keep you away from people because they don't want those people telling you what they see in this person and the way they're treating you? And so
Right.
they don't want to be found out. They don't want to get caught in their behavior. And so something to look out for is, do you have a friend that's telling you something's not right with that guy or something's not right with, what what I'm seeing here looks very abusive towards you, or what you're telling me. It might even be not something that they see happening because it might be happening behind closed doors, but
Right.
the person might, in confidence, share some information. And so
Right.
that friend or that family member might have some type of thing to share with you about what they're seeing that you maybe have thought yourself that, is this a narcissist? Am I with a narcissist here? And now that
Mm-hmm.
person's saying it to you because maybe they've had experience in the past with a narcissist in some way, or they know enough about narcissism to share with you. That sounds really narcissistic. So
Right.
now, hearing that from someone else, it might be easier for them to see because you see, you've been drawn in by this person because they're good at love bombing. And when you have
Right.
no, they're also good at hoovering you back. So they've got all these tactics that they've been using, but then
Yeah.
you also know that sometimes you're their best friend and sometimes in the same day you're their worst enemy. So what is it, that I'm seeing? And now you have a friend that's kind of confirming it to you. So
Right.
now what do you do, and creating boundaries in your life, and that'll be a future podcast. We'll talk about boundaries and what that might have to look like for you.
Right.
Beginning of creating boundaries, it might be simple things that you can do within the house for yourself to gain sanity, but it might be even as severe as severing your ties with that person and getting out of the same location so that you're not suffering
Mm-hmm.
from abuse any longer. So
Wow. Well, Karen, that was so good. And I hope that all of y'all are listening. If you know someone that's in this situation, it doesn't cost you anything. Share this information. That's why we're doing this. We want to help promote awareness. We want to help get you through this. We want to help you get your healing ultimately. And just remember, you can like, share, subscribe to the podcast, YouTube. We want to just get all the growth that we can and to help as many people as possible. And hey, if you ever want to be on our show, just remember, chime in on the comments. Maybe you'll be on with us one day. Who knows? Well, I appreciate you, Karen. Well, thank you. My name is Tyler. This is Karen. And we are the Narcissist I'm Asking for a Friend podcast. We'll look forward to seeing you on the next one.